Hey everybody, Todd here, all things archery and shooting, and today we're going to be doing a video on my shooting style. I'm not sure if it's a unique shooting style or just probably someone else is doing the same thing, but it's what works for me. I'm not sure if it's a snap shooting style or what you would call it, but the way I shoot my arrows traditionally is a little bit different, and let me tell you why. I've tried all the shooting styles. I've tried your gap shooting. Didn't like the gap shooting. I mean, I could judge I get my arrows for it, but the problem with gap shooting is I couldn't be consistent with it, okay? I mean, all over the place. I'd have groups 10, 12 inches, huge groups. So that didn't work for me. So I went to string walking, okay? Tried that because I shoot with a tab. And string walking, I mean, that worked a little bit better. The problem with string walking was the further I got down the string, the further away I got and shot the arrow, the bow sounded like a freaking grenade going off. So that's not going to work for me. So I don't target shoot. I'm mostly a hunter. I hunt in the woods, so that too much noise doesn't work for me. I also tried face walking. I could never get that right. Okay. I tried, I guess, split vision, and hell, split vision, I couldn't even hit the target hardly. Okay. So I mean, I've tried them all, and I couldn't get any of them. And I've watched all old Fred Bear videos, of old Howard Hill, and they use a technique like a snap shooting technique where they bring the bow up and they'd hit their anchor point, and boom, arrow would be gone. And they were deadly accurate with it. Same thing with Byron Ferguson. He doesn't use any kind of sighting technique. He's a snap shooter. He'll bring it up, and I watch his videos, boom, bam, and it's gone. So I took some information from Byron Ferguson's videos, some old Howard Hill videos, some Fred Bear videos, and it seems to work for me because I can now group very well. I'm very consistent out to about 30 yards to 35 on a really good day. What I mean by that is at 20 yards, I can keep my groups into a baseball size group area. So what's that, maybe 3-4 inches? 25 yards to 30 yards, I'm probably the size of a softball. What's that, about 4 to 5 inches? 35 yards, I keep all of my shots on an 8-inch paper plate, okay? At 10 yards, I'm busting knocks, so I don't shoot at 10 yards. If I do, I shoot different target points. 15 yards, my group, you can cover basically with your fist, all of my arrows. So, and that's using the snap shooting technique that I've developed for myself. And let me tell you how it works, okay? Basically, I use a high anchor point. I anchor my arrow. I anchor my arrow way up here on my eye, and I anchor it up here. And I use my finger here on my mastiff bone here. That's where I anchor my arrow at. And I sight down my arrow just like I'm looking down a shotgun. And then I always start low, and then I bring my bow up. And as soon as the tip of my arrow hits the point of the target I want to shoot, boom, I release. And that's how I shoot. Okay? I'm not sure what you call that, but that's pretty much how I do it. Let's review one more time. The way I do it is I have a high anchor point up my eye. I sight down the arrow with my eye. It's like I'm shooting down a shotgun. I sight down a shotgun. And I start a little bit low on the target. Then as I bring my bow up, I'm pulling back at the same time. And as soon as the tip of my arrow hits my point of my target I want to shoot, I release. And then that arrow takes off and is gone. And I'm almost always where I need to be at on my target shot. So that's how I shoot. I'm not sure what you'd call that, instinctive shooting, snap shooting, or what, but that's how I shoot, and that's what works for me. And I said I've tried them all, that's one that works for me. I said after 35 yards, I'm very accurate with it. I can keep all my shots in the kill zone of an animal. Past 35 yards, not so much. I get to 40, 45, and 50 yards, I am all over the place with the snap shooting. So I keep my shots, most of my hunting shots are between 15 and 25 anyway, so I try to stay in that range for most of my practice sessions. All right, good. Now let's head out to the range. Let's put this to use. I'll show you how it works, and I'll show you how my groups work, and we'll go from there. All right? I'll catch up to you shortly at the range. Thanks. Okay, everybody. This is Todd here with All Things Archery and Shooting. I'm doing a video on my shooting style. It's kind of a unique shooting style. I guess it is. Well, I don't know if it's unique or not, but it's what works for me anyway. Maybe you can glean something from it and use it in your own shooting. What I'm shooting today is I'm shooting a October Mountain Products takedown recurve at 50 pounds. It's a 62-inch bow. I've got a 7 3/4-inch brace sight on it. I'm using 11/32 Bear Archery arrows, 29.5 inches. They weigh 570 grains total. And they're using 5-inch feathers on them. We're going to be shooting both these targets here. We're going to look at my grouping, how we do that. We're also going to have my shooting style, my anchor point, and what I use. By the way, Viper, this goes out to you. I'm not sure what trolling is, but this is not it. So Viper, this is for you. Okay, first we're going to show you my anchor point, how I anchor my bow, how I shoot my arrows, okay? I use the tab, and I'll show where I anchor it. Watch closely. I use a high anchor and I look down my arrows like I do a shotgun. Okay. Do another one. We'll do another one. Okay. Okay, everybody. This is the target we're using today. It's a Buck Commander bag target. I've really shot this thing thousands of times. I'm going to step off and shoot 5 arrows and see what kind of group I can get. I'm going to step off to 20 yards. Usually at 20 yards, if I'm on and everything's working good for me today and things are clicking with this bow, I can shoot a baseball to softball sized group at 20 yards. So let's give it back up and give it a shot, see what we can do. Okay, as you can see, that's about a softball size, maybe a little bit smaller. It's probably say 3.5 inch group. It's probably a baseball sized group. They're all right here. This is my aiming point. So I had one flyer in the lower about 5 o'clock. That was probably me. I'm going to release off some, but you can see how tight that group is. It's a 20-yard group using my snap shooting technique. Now let's move over and try it on our 3D target, the deer. Same distance, 20 yards, 5 arrows. Let's see what we do on that. Okay. Okay, as you can see, this is shot at 20 yards using my snap shooting technique, and you can see that's about the size of a baseball all in the vitals. My aiming point was right here. I shoot with a high eye anchor and look down my arrow like it's a shotgun and use the tip of my arrow as like a bead of a shotgun. And then I just use Kentucky windage where I think it's going to be at. So I bring my bow up, and once my front of my target point hits that blue spot, I let it go. Once it hits my anchor point, my anchor point hits, and that tip of that arrow hits that blue spot right there, boom, that arrow's gone. And that's where it ends up at. This is 20 yards. Now I can maintain this out to about 25 yards. I get to 30, it starts opening up quite big. But still at 30 to 35 yards, I keep all of my 5 shots in an 8-inch paper plate. Past 35 yards though, not so good. But most of my hunting can be done between 15 and 20 yards. I don't want to get it close to 15 yards. I'm even closer, and at 10 yards, I'm busting knocks. So I try to shoot at 20 because you bust one of these knocks, these wood arrows, they're a pain in the ass to repair. So anyway, there you go. Viper, that's how I shoot. Okay? Okay, we'll look at my anchor point one more time, where I anchor on my face. And okay, here we go. Okay, there we go. All right, thanks. All right, I want to thank you for watching. I hope my system will work for you guys. Give it a shot. Like I said, the only thing I can tell you about the way I work is I use the arrow like a barrel of a shotgun. I sight down the arrow. I do a high eye anchor, always right on the mastic bone of my eye right here where my finger touches. And I sight down the arrow, and as soon as it's like swinging a shotgun, I bring that bow up, and as soon as that tip of that arrow hits my aiming point, whatever it may be, the blue dot or whatever I pick, that arrow's gone. And that's how my groups come out. I've tried gap shooting, and I've tried string walking, I've tried face walk. I can't use any of those. So this system works for me. Maybe it'll work for you too. Again, this is Todd, all things archery and shooting. I want to thank you for watching. Have a great day. Ciao.